They were too young, I said. And she replied, Who? Who were too young? And I said, the children this morning, making their first Holy Communion. And my sister said, what do you mean they were too young? And I said, well, they didn't understand, I don't think. They didn't understand what they were receiving, that they were receiving God himself in this great gift. Too young. And so my sister then went on to say, so do you understand what it is you receive? I'd be about 19 or 20 years old. We were sitting in the kitchen. I'd been to Mass that morning, and the First Communion children at St. Robert's in Fenham had just made their First Communion. And there in the kitchen was myself, my sister, and my father. And so my sister asked me, did I understand what it is that I receive in Holy Communion? And so I then pontificated about transubstantiation, substance and accidents and all of that. Now, Francesca had just done a philosophy degree, and so she pressed me further. And of course, the more she pressed me, the more tied up in knots I got. It's very easy to tie me up in knots, I can tell you. And in the end, my father said, quit while you're ahead. I was clearly losing the discussion. And I suppose it brings home to me, it certainly did then, that it's a tremendous gift, the gift of Holy Communion. And we can sometimes ask whether these small children, who just yesterday morning, for example, received Holy Communion for the first time, we can ask, do they understand? Do they get it? Do they realize what it is that they're receiving? And before we start condescendingly say, no, they're too young, they don't really know what they're doing, we can ask the same question of ourselves. The truth is, this sacrament has layers and layers of meaning. The truth of the sacrament is that it's the most astonishing miracle, and our understanding of it is very, very shallow. I suppose it takes me to the heart of what we're supposed to think about the sacrament. Beyond all of the technical language, beyond all the theology, it's quite simply this. It's Jesus. That's the thing we're supposed to understand more than anything else. And beyond that, the danger is that we can imagine that we know so much more. The truth is, in communion, we receive God himself, who is so beyond us. It is this tremendous gift that he has set before us. In that first reading, it talked about the manna, the what is it, for that's what the word manna means. What is it? It was the question they first asked when they saw it. It says twice in that first reading, they didn't know what it was. Now, that's emphasized because it's being remarked that they didn't even know what this ordinary substance, whatever it was, that just gave them ordinary life, sustained them in the desert. They didn't know what that was, let alone for us to ponder the mystery of the Eucharist. Which takes us to another point, I suppose. We think we know so much, and yet the truth is, even the simple food we receive, the breakfast that you ate this morning, the lunch that you'll have later today, how that sustains us. Well, yes, there are explanations provided, but still there's a great deal that we're still just finding out, that we don't know about. And if you can't really work out what the boiled egg does to you, how are you ever going to understand what the sacrament of Holy Communion does for you? Except for this truth, it is Jesus Christ. No more to be said.